So, we are playing Techno Babylon and we have a bit of a conversation to get through. Let's get to it.
What's your role here?
I'm the supervisor for the telepresence factoring labs. Most of it's automatic. I just make sure it's all running like it should.
Sounds like a big responsibility.
It's a lousy job most of the time. TP is where management sticks people they don't want in public-facing roles.
You're not happy with it?
For the last few years, my career has been one disaster after another. I'm just glad it's plateaued into some kind of stability.
Huh. I think I actually would like to reduce the volume of the music here, but it appears I am unable to do so.
Can you tell me what happened?
Baxter got killed.
In any more detail?
When we started this afternoon, a whole lot of samples had been tampered with. We tried to call Baxter to find out what the hell was going on in the specimen bank.
And he didn't answer.
He didn't. Turned out the door to the specimen bank was locked too.
You haven't seen the body?
No, not in person, if that's what you mean. We got the camera feed online, but it was obvious that Baxter wasn't going to be coming out.
When did you last see him?
Guess it could have been Wednesday?
So he could have been killed any time in the past 3 days?
I guess, but it wouldn't fit with everything else.
What's the purpose of this lab? Plant studies?
Yes and no. It's a TP lab, telepresence. There's a lot of research that's not exactly legal in some countries.
But in Newton, pretty much anything goes.
Exactly. If someone in the EU needs research done on something hazardous, infectious, or endangered, they send the orders here and we carry out the testing.
What sort of research?
Mostly we make new angiosperms from scratch. That's flowering plants to you.
Gee, thanks. Why would people want new flowers?
Sometimes it's a drug delivery method. The earliest commercial examples were fruit that grew packed with insulin. A lot of new wetware begins its life as engineered fruit too.
Must be awkward if they cross-pollinate in the wild.
And a legal headache. Part of our job is making sure the copy protection works.
Copy protection in plants? Ouch.
That's slightly weird, yes. Just a little side note here about the fruits with insulin. I'm told that there has been a project, I don't know if it's finished or if it's even ongoing now, but a project where they have tried to get bananas to produce insulin. And also there are a couple of cows that produce I think IGF-1, that's insulin growth factor 1, with their milk. Well, that's mostly administered to I don't know what they're called, the well, dwarfs, dwarfism, like Peter Dinklage. Well, anyway, let's just move on before I say something that makes the internet explode.
Aside from yourself, who else works in this laboratory?
There's my intern, Martin Neester, operates the factoring line. If you meet him, it's easy to see why they put him in here. And until recently, there was Dr. Baxter.
Tell me about Mr. Neester.
He came over from Eurofed on a study program. He's young. I guess we're all like that in our youth.
Good colleague?
He's all right. He got on board with that annoying Maladist trend. He knows how to follow instructions, so I let him get on with it.
His visa still active?
Dr. Lau, we do not employ undocumented illegals in this lab.
Just have to check. I'm sure you understand. Tell me about Dr. Baxter.
Oh, he was bad enough to work with in the 60s. As part of his parole, they stuck a governor in his head. Since then, it's like talking to a badly written synthetic.
You don't care for him a great deal.
That man killed Vicky. Frankly, he deserved what he got.
But you still work with him.
He worked for me. It was another part of his parole. Vickerman's management persuaded centralized government that his skills were going to waste in prison. The company wanted him supervised by someone who knew him. Hence, they dragged my sorry ass in.
What did you have him doing?
He organized the specimen bank. It's the kind of thing we could just leave him at for hours on end. days sometimes. Really, it could have just been done by the facility's AI, but I had to give him something.
Otherwise, you'd have to talk to him.
Exactly.
Well, sounds like those two have a lovely relationship.
You've got a keen mind. What's your take on this?
Hey, I'm not the detective, young lady. You know what I think? I think Regis did what they ought to have done 20 years ago.
Why do you say that?
Seems logical. We've got him coming into the labs on security, then we got him coming out an hour later. When we get here, we've got Baxter's corpse contaminating the specimen bag.
Anything else?
Well, something strange. Since we got in, we keep finding samples that have been tampered with. Looks like he spent his hour here messing up the genomes of our specimens.
That quickly?
If anyone was good enough to do it that fast, it'd be Charlie.
I was just about to say something like that.
You knew Regis as well.
Yeah, I was on a research team with him and his wife back in the 60s. Baxter, too.
You've apparently known him a long time. Does this seem like something Regis would do?
Oh, after what he did to Vicky, I'd have strangled Baxter, too. I tell you, if he did do it, I wouldn't blame him one bit.
Do you think he did it, though?
I don't know. He was always kinda shady.
Tell me about it.
They made him do some real awful stuff out in the hot zones.
Such as...
Let's just say his escape led to a whole lot of people being jailed for war crimes.
This work in the hot zones, I'm not sure if that's something we're gonna revisit. I don't remember anything about that in either case.
You seem preoccupied.
That obvious, huh? We found a couple of specimens that Regis tampered with in his hour here. So I gotta run through the catalog and dig out the backups.
Sounds straightforward.
Not when there's 11,000 samples to take. Oh, I could punch Regis for this. Though, I want to shake his hand for Baxter so it kinda evens out.
Well, he was here for 2 hours though, not 1. But I guess that's neither here nor there.
What's been done to the samples?
He's used a customized viral vector to add huge amounts of junk DNA to their genomes. These are the last two I found, Medioflorens interensis and Linacia lawsonis.
May I have a look?
Do you think it'll help?
Just a hunch. Huh. Non-binary. Quaternary data string?
What do you mean?
My wetware systems are interpreting the genomes of these plants as sections of an audio file. He's used the DNA to store information.
You think so?
It's incomplete. The two samples only make up a third of the data, but M and L, my initials. This can't be a coincidence. He's left a message.
What does it say?
Not sure yet. I could probably construct the whole message if I can find where he's hidden the rest of it.
Safe to say it's in the other plants he's engineered. Here, take this. You can sample DNA from the plants around the lab. If you run out of sampling cartridges, you can reload it at this console.
Thanks. How long would it take to sample everything in the lab?
Only a couple of years. We have over 11,000 subjects. You're better off looking for specimens that would fill the gaps in the clue he left.
Yeah. This is pretty far-fetched, but it is, it's a healthy, intellectual exercise, I suppose.
So you worked with Regis and his wife, as well as Baxter. Did you also work for Dr. Vargas?
That Papa's ass? Yeah, I worked for him.
You don't care for him.
He was a competent researcher, but he lives for politics. Everything was always about making the world a better place.
And you don't think it should be better?
It's a nice idea, just not realistic. And what we ended up making, it was... actually, never mind.
What happens in the specimen bank?
It's where the samples of plants and growth matrices are stored. There's a huge library of subjects to work with, natural and man-made.
And that's where Baxter worked?
Yeah, it's not exactly taxing. I wanted to see what he could do since they put a governor in him.
You left him to work alone in there?
I'll be honest, he was not a pleasant man to talk to.
I wonder why Regis hid a message inside the DNA of these plants.
DNA's been used as a data storage medium before. Rather than on-off binary, DNA would be quaternary bits. Adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. If he just left a message on one of the systems, though, or even on paper.
Then someone could have destroyed or erased it. Short of burning down the entire lab, they'd have no way to be sure they destroyed a message hidden like this.
Especially since he scrambled so many of the other samples as camouflage.
He needs to make sure it's found, and based on the layout, he wants me to find it.
So, do you have other recommendations for us?
Have you found anything else with added genetic data?
As a matter of fact, I have. There was a batch of Orchidaceae isotria in the growth lab, and...
And?
I can't remember exactly which specimen the other was. I do remember that it had blue flowers, variegated, that is, multicolored leaves, and produced long fruit.
Okay, remember this. Blue flowers and variegated and stuff. That part is actually randomized for every playthrough. So we are going to have to look for this with our Mark 1 eyeballs.
Why didn't the facility's CI detect Baxter's vitals suddenly failing? It's a potentially hazardous environment in here.
We were wondering that as well. This afternoon we noticed the monitoring system in the sample lab was in recursion. All hell broke loose when the CI suddenly realized what had happened.
So either you've got a technical fault with the software or wetware interfacing,
Which is unlikely given how much they cost.
or someone breached the security systems to cover Baxter's murder. That gives me more hope. Regis would have no idea how to do that. What sort of research were you conducting in the 60s?
You mean with Charlie and his wife? You might not believe it, but we were the people behind Central.
Central? The city governing AI Central?
The same. Newton was looking for a coordinator AI. Vargas put together a team including the new Mr. and Mrs. Regis.
Luke, me. Regis never mentioned anything about this.
It wasn't a happy memory for him. He left after the unpleasantness. We finished the project a few months later.
Huh. Might explain why he hates Central's guts.
So, enough about this.
Is that all?
For now.
Then if you'll excuse me, I'll get back to work.
And I will reduce the music volume a little. Can I get the text? Oh, wait, whoa. Tooltip text follows cursor. Okay, that's interesting. Let's leave it on for now. Whatever. I'm going here now. Don't think this is the one. Actually, let me refresh my memory. I had a lot of things on. Oh, yeah, whatever.
Excuse me, Dr. Chigwa.
I just want to
Quick, I'm busy.
make sure I write this down.
Have you found any...
There was a batch of Orchidaceae isotria in the...
And?
I can't remember exactly which specimen the other was. I do remember that it had blue flowers, variegated, that is, multicolored leaves, and produced long fruit.
Okay, and long fruits. And I wrote that in Swedish, by the way. Not in the same language they spoke, so... that took a bit of concentration. Oh, wait, oh, hey, there was those plants outside, I just noticed. Well, the leaves are variegated, but the fruits are not what you're looking for.
Hi there.
When do you offer a mechanical holiday?
My name's Dr. Max Lau. I'm a cell case specialist.
Yeah, Fox dramatically sat on a secret arm.
Okay. Yeah. Let's need some water. Well, this guy is supposed to have some sort of autism thing going on. So, well, long story short, we're not going to get anything useful out of him. But he is going to say some pretty weird shit.
You're not making any sense.
When will Plumber show them a photograph?
Are you alright?
When will Plumber show them a photograph?
Can I get your name?
Georgie promised a blow by blow.
Okay. I give up.
I can't not promise to avoid not doing that thing I don't do.
Great. Great. Keep up the good work. Let's see. Just blah, 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 yada yada, and there. Into the seed bank we shall go.
Oh god, what a mess.
I completely forgot to warn you about this as well. Although it's not a whole lot of gore, his head is missing.
Update Central.
What is the situation, Dr. Lau?
Dr. Baxter is certainly dead. He's been decapitated, and not cleanly either.
His head has been removed.
More like destroyed. At a glance, this would be the most likely cause of death. Nothing unusual found on the body, Central. Estimation on time of death?
The climate control in the specimen lab is compromising your sensors. Ambient temperature is just above freezing. What is your estimation of the incident, Dr. Lau?
There's too much we can't say for sure. We don't know precisely when Baxter was murdered. We can't even be sure that this was the cause of death.
That is a fair assessment. A clearer picture will no doubt follow the autopsy.
Don't send in anyone yet. I still need to carry out a preliminary.
I understand. Continue your investigation of events surrounding the incident.
Understood. Lau out. I hope I can find something to get Regis off the hook.
So do I. And I know we will, actually.
Warning. Security clearance not valid for access to Growth Lab. Vickerman Pharmaceuticals thanks you for your cooperation.
Well, that's a bit of a drag. Let's convince you otherwise.
Warning. Security clearance not...
Come on.
New security profile created. Access granted. Welcome, Dr. Lau.
Thanks.
Let's just ignore the fact that we kind of hacked a national... whatever. I don't think this would fly in court, is what I'm trying to say.
This could be useful. Looks like a lot of cartridges for the injector.
Ho 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 ho. Epinephrine, I'm pretty sure we won't need. potassium chloride, that is possibly the least hazardous substance available. I think this could be related to the cell's nutrition cycle. Let's just see. Yeah, we should actually take this very thing.
Nope, sorry.
You stare into the UV lighting. Unsurprisingly, it makes your eyes hurt. Let's not stare into the UV lighting then. Okay, now, why this is a thing I will never know. But now that we have this, we can make Neaster make some actual sense.
I am a possibility to move it from the TV.
Really? How interesting.
Beached questions, you injector?
Say that again?
Overpass, did you stick me with an injector? Now I'll have to get my aphasia rejabbed. Not cool, man.
Okay. Run it by me again.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
I'm CS Dr. Lau. I've been tasked with this investigation.
Martin Easter. I've been tasked with the factoring lab.
You work with Dr. Chikwa?
I work for Chikwa. I'm just the intern. Means I get stuck with all the lousy jobs she won't do.
I understand. I was an intern once.
So, what's CS? You a detective?
Case specialist. So, yes, I guess you could say that.
Cool.
I'd like to hear from you what happened.
So, we came in this afternoon for the late shift, right? I checked on the factoring line, and it turns out the specimens are nuked up.
In what sense?
They don't match the catalog anymore. Not that they're supposed to be. I figured Baxter nuked it up again, so I checked the feed.
That's when you found the body?
Yeah, but Chigwa won't let me get a look. Told me to get back to work while she called Sal. Hey, can I get a look at the body with you?
I'm afraid not. Official procedure and stuff.
Bummer.
Why'd you go and give yourself aphasia?
Not just that. There are loads of syndromes. It's maladies, man.
Aren't diseases like that dangerous, though?
It's not permanent, man. We ain't stupid. What wear nodes in the body create the symptoms of things we want, which you went and broke. Gee, thanks.
Sorry about that. In any case, they're temporary then.
Exactly.
I still don't get it. What's the hook for maladism?
Man, you old folk never get things like MD.
Old?
Most of these syndromes are diseases that are completely curable. They just don't happen anymore. Society says no to them.
So it's countercultural? An act of rebellion?
Exactly. Diseases like that make the establishment uncomfortable. They don't want it to be a part of their society. But we show them they can't ever get rid of it completely.
You're rubbing their faces in it then.
And in another way, it's kinda retro. Illnesses like that are what shape society. The Black Death made Europe what it is.
Gotta appreciate the classics.
For a lot of us, it's also about who's hardest. Posers go for little things like botulism or influenza. But you know someone's got real nodes on them if they can stand a month with HIV.
That is all kinds of messed up.
So, what other diseases have you tried?
Loads of them. Parkinson's, syphilis, tuberculosis. Last month, it was Hansen's disease.
Wait, leprosy?
Yeah, if you're a Zift, Hansen's is the real name.
Sounds like quite a selection.
That's why I came to study in Newton. Eurofed's just starting to get into MD culture. Even talking about banning it. Newton's where it's at for it. You guys are a lot cooler about what you let people do.
On an individual basis, certainly. That's pretty much the founding philosophy here.
What the actual... Just good grief.
Dr. Chigwa tells me that some of the specimens have been tampered.
Oh yeah, I found one of those. Man, couldn't they have just killed the guy without messing up my work?
I need to find it. Which specimen was it?
Oh, of course, a Brazilian. When I found it, I just thought Baxter was nuking it up again.
What did you do with it?
I just sent it back to the specimen lab. Should be there in the sample store.
Okay. Yeah. That is noted in the walkthrough, so I don't have to write that name down. Great.
How do young people go about getting sick these days?
It's a lot harder, but that shows it's a choice. We use wetware to create symptoms, like the aphasia. The wetware I had for that was programmed to lodge in the Broca and Wernicke regions of the brain.
So it's not really Broca's aphasia.
Same symptoms though.
You'd buy wetware nodes from shops?
Nah, find hobby GG programmers through the trans. They're always looking to sell. It's like a contest. They're always releasing new syndromes, competing with each other. You looking to get into it?
Not really my scene, thanks. What do you think of Dr. Chigwa?
She's a hard ass, but she knows what she's doing. Kinda thinks she feels wasted working here.
What can you tell me about Dr. Baxter?
Not much. He only started here a couple of weeks ago. Chigwa dropped him in the specimen lab and kinda left him here.
She neglected him?
Nah, he just barely left. Could have been a workaholic, but I think he just couldn't focus on anything else.
Did he ever talk about his past with you?
Man, he didn't even talk to me, period, about anything.
What's your personal opinion of Dr. Baxter?
He didn't talk much. One nuked up guy. Chigwa told me he'd been released from jail. Looked like he had a governor in his head.
That's correct. It affected his behavior?
Dude, that's an understatement. That Monken was like a zombie. One time, I dropped the whole sample tray in his lab. Anyone else would have yelled at me. He started to get mad, then looked just about ready to puke.
The governor inhibited violent thought. He'd been serving a murder sentence.
Oh, no way. Who'd he whack?
That's confidential.
Man, that's unfair. You're a teens.
Remind me, what was that specimen you found?
Jeez, it was a...
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Broke something, yada yada.
I can't figure out what any of these tools are for.
Huh. Oh well, we'll just have to leave them alone then. Actually, I think it's time to end this episode as well. So we'll get back to the flowery shenanigans in the next video. See you then.